Hello, great people. My name is Fola, and I welcome you to Physique Fashion House channel. I appreciate all our subscribers. Thank you so much. And if you are yet to join this amazing community, do well to subscribe to our channel today. Thank you. So today, I'll be teaching you how to make a beautiful padded princess darts. So it's going to be detailed and interesting. Watch to the end. Let's go. Now, to make your padded princess darts, you need your fabric. I'll be using this colorful Ankara fabric. You need your hairstay. You need your worthy for the padding, and I'll be using this paper, this cardboard, to draft out our princess dart. This is the bust line, 8.5. This is the bust point, 10.5. This is the under bust length, 13.5. While this is our half length, 17. So the next thing is to get our shoulder, and the shoulder we'll be working with is the shoulder is 14. So you divide the 14 by 2, it gives us a 7. So that 7 will add a seam allowance of half to it, making a 7.5. So that's 7.5. Because it is a princess dart, you still add half to it, because we normally have shortage of the shoulder by the time we finish joining it. So you add half to that 7.5, making 8. So get your 8 inches. So you now draw your armhole line. Yes. So the next thing to do now is to get a breast apart. So the breast apart we are working with is 7, because we are working with size 8. The breast apart is 7, so you divide it by 2. That's a 3.5. You add half inch of a seam allowance to it, making 4. So you get 4, and get your 4 here. So you get it down here, and you connect it. So this is it. So the next thing to do is to get the wideness of the neck. I'll be using 3.5. You can use 4 for the wideness for the neck width. So I use 3.5 by 5. So the depth, I use 5 for the depth of the neck. So I connect it. You use your French curve to connect the neck. I believe you are seeing it clearly. So I get my shoulder slope of 1 inch. I connect it to the neck width. Yes. So the next thing to do is to get the midpoint on this line. So get the midpoint and that is after shoulder slope. You get the midpoint of a 7.5 now. This midpoint of 7.5 now will be like a 3.75, 3.75. So on this point now, you now come down by 1 or 1.5 an inch. So let's come down by 1. So on this point now, we come in by 1. So we connect it to the shoulder slope. So now, the next thing to do is on this bust point, we come up by 1 and we come down, we come down by 1 as well. So the essence of this is for the cup not to be pointing. As we proceed in the lesson, you will get to understand what I mean. So on this under bust now, so what we do is that we come to the left by 2. We come to this side by half. The reason why we come to this side by 2 is because we are doing padded princess darts. Assuming it's ordinary princess darts we are doing, all we need to do is just to come to this side by 1, come to the left by 1, come to the right by 1. That is for the regular princess dart. But for this one is padded one. We want the cup area to be obvious. That is why we are using this method. We come to this side by 2 and to here just half. So we do the same thing at this half length point. Come here by 2. Come to this side by half. So this is the center front, and remember your fabric is on fold. So the next thing to do is to connect this line. Connect this line, then we use our curve to connect this, just like this. So you can see that even if you don't come down by 1, your curve will even help you to achieve that. But it's always good to come down by 1, come up by 1, so that in case you are using a freehand sketch to connect it. Here, just so here now, you now come, you use your tape slantly, come out by 2 from this point where you have come inside by 1. So you mark it. As you mark it, you can use your ruler to connect it. So the next thing is to use your French curve to now connect to this one where you come up by 1 here. So you just place your French curve to blend it to this end for your cup to. So you can see that you are having, this is when we are cutting, this is the line we are going to cut out now. You can see we have our cup being, that is not pointing. So the next thing is to begin to measure. We have created our cup now. So the next thing is to begin to measure all our measurements. Measure our bust on this bust line. The bust is 8. After dividing 32 by 4, it gives us 8. So this is 8. Then we get our seam allowance of 2 to 2.5 inches. Let's use 2.5 inches. So that we won't have a shortage of fabric. So here now we measure our waist. The waist we are working with is 26. So 26 divided by 4 give us a 6.5. So we measure our 6.5 here, 6.5. Then what we have here, we consider what we have here, because by the time we cut out this, we have shortage of fabric of this side, so we have to measure whatever we are having here. We have 2.5 inside here. We replace it 2.5. Then we now get our seam allowance of 2 inches. So we do the same on this half length. Measure 6.5. Get what we have here, 2.5. We measure, we replace it, then our seam allowance of 2 inches. So we now connect it. Then we use our French cuff to connect the armhole together. So the armhole is finally drawn out now. Yes, this is it. So this is the front cut of padded the princess dart. So I want to cut it out now. We cut out this. This is the center front. So cut out this. As you are cutting out this, use your French cuff to blend this area as well. Because it's not meant to look sharp. So this is it. So the next thing to do now is to use this to cut out our fabric. So mind you, if you are sewing the one that is, if you are sewing sleeveless, if your fabric, your dress or your top is sleeveless, ensure that you, on this point, ensure that you come up by half or 3/4. Do the same at this side. I mean, up and down, you come up by 3/4, you come down by 3/4 or half. Then you create another dart. You form another dart to meet this side. You do the same here, just like this. Having come up, for instance, you come up by half here, come down by half here. So you will now create another dart. You use your French cuff to create another dart, just like this. Just like this. Then here, you do the same thing here. So, which means this new dart, you are going to, remove this. You are going to cut this one off so that you won't have one falling opening by your armhole. So, but if you are fixing your, sleeve, it doesn't really matter. So let's go and cut out our fabric now. So when you cut out your fabric with this, you cut out your hairstay the same way you cut out. Then I will later show you how to cut out your waddy. But you cut out your hairstay the same way you cut out your lining the same way. So let's do that. Now we have cut out our fabric, and we have gummed the stay to it, and this is the lining. The lining has been cut out the same way. So the next thing to do now is to cut out our pad. So you have to see how the pad will be cut out now. Now to cut out the pad, you have to, the measurement for cutting out the pad, this when we were cutting our neckline, the depth of our neckline is 5. So yours could be 8, whichever way you want. Depends on how deep you want your neck. But for the pad has to start somewhere around the 9 inches, and it has to stop on the bust. And you know, the under bust we are working with is around the 13 and a half. So whatever your under bust is, that is where your pad will stop. I'm saying in essence is that your pad will start like 1 inches up your bust point. 1 inch or 1.5 inches above your bust point, but it will stop on the bust. Your pad must not extend to your half length. It has to stop under your bust. So you fold your fabric. And you know, for this our own neckline, we came down by 5. So which means we are starting, which means our pad will start somewhere around here, and the 9, or you can make it 8.5. I told you 1 or 1.5 inches up your bust point. Then this is our under bust 13. You mark it 13 or 13.5. It's our under bust 13.5. So this is under bust. And for this side, let it be like a 2.5. Let it be around 2.5 or 3 inches. So which means you are going to mark somewhere around here. So this is it. I'm going to paste it on our fabric. You can decide to shape it up here, especially when your neckline, depending on how your neckline is. But for this one, there is no need of shaping it. So we're going to use pressing iron to paste it very well. Now the wording has been pasted to the fabric. It already has a gum. So I'm ensure that all this thing is done before you join your top together. So the next thing to do now is to go and join it from down part with a 1/2 inch. To this end. So that's what we want to go and do now. You do the same thing to your lining. So this is it. I've joined it now, but there is something I normally do to make this, even before the ironing, to make this place to be very to come out nice. So what I do is that this place where we join it with half, I used to the excess here of the pad, of the wording, I used to open it just like this, so as to enhance easy ironing by the time you want to open this place and iron. So I do it this way, then I cut out this excess. You have to be very careful so that you don't cut where it is joined. I do it this way. I do everything. so that by the time you are opening that joining to iron, it will be easier for you and it will come out nicely. So I do the second side the same way. You can see it is only the part I am opening to cut away. It's not necessary to cut the ear stay or paper stay. So I'm good to go and do the ironing now. So before the ironing, I just notch it. I notch for easy opening. So I will open it this way and iron all through now. So now we have ironed it thoroughly. You can see how neat and beautiful it looks. So you can see that we are able to open this joining, the dart part, and iron it very well. So it makes it easy. So this is the outcome of our princess dart, padded princess dart. See how beautiful it looks. Now you can see the outcome of your padded princess dart. Very beautiful, so neat and beautiful. I'm sure you have enjoyed this video. Share with your friend, give it a like, and drop your comments, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, Physique Fashion House. Thank you very much. See you next time.